Hello everyone. I've worked in the funeral industry for 6 years. It's corporate, so they have a local care center that services 8 individual funeral homes and 2 cremation societies. I think our average is close to 4,000 bodies a year. I've dabbled in embalming and directing, but most of my experience has been what they call a removal tech. Basically, I go and pick up the bodies from hospitals, facilities, homes, etc., and bring them back to the care center where I log them into storage. My one and only paranormal experience was about a year into starting the job. I get chills even typing this because shortly after it happened I was telling the story to some friends and the same phenomenon happened again. So it was a typical work day. I worked the night shift and would be on call from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. Yes, it's very long hours, but I enjoyed it immensely. Plus, I'm very much a night person. I received a first call for a residential home in the area. The deceased was a woman in her late 50s. The director who took the first call had added notes saying to be extra careful because the family was distraught. I arrived at the home and spoke to the daughter and son. The deceased had died in the back bedroom and had fallen against the door. The woman was fairly obese, 320 pounds, and the fire department had to break the door to the bedroom down to get to her. After accessing the situation and going over paperwork with the family, I explained that we would not be able to get the gurney into the room. Small hallways and tight corners are a nightmare for us in this industry. I explained I would have to set the gurney up in the living room and bring the deceased out to the gurney and advised the family to step outside while me and my partner moved the body. It was a typical day at work so far. We got a sheet under the body and drug her out into the living room. I had set up the gurney in the middle of the room and right above us was a chandelier. We lifted her up and onto the gurney. The moment she was square on the gurney, the light bulb went out above us. I did not feel cold or scared. I didn't have any negative or scary vibes. Me and my partner just looked at each other. I had a sense that this was some sort of communication. Almost like this woman was watching us and screamed out when we placed her body on the gurney, seeing and accepting that she was in fact dead. My partner and I drove back to the care center and logged in the case without anything else happening. We both were stunned and had no explanation for the light. A month later, I was visiting some friends and told them the story. We were all sitting outside to have drinks, and when I got to the light going out, I snapped my finger, accentuating how the exact moment she was on the gurney, the light had gone out. Guys, when I snapped my finger, all the little plastic lawn lights went out. I honestly couldn't believe it. Since then, nothing else has happened, and I've told the story to other people with no paranormal activity. Did this woman stay with me for that month after, or was this another spirit? Out of the thousands of bodies I've picked up and crazy situations I've been in, I've never had anything like this happen before. Just makes you wonder what's really out there. Edit: there is a part of the story I left out that I feel should be included. When I had asked the daughter to step outside, she initially declined and had said she'd lost 3 loved ones in this house and her mother would be the 4th. I thought this was odd and she didn't expand on this. When we began prepping the gurney with plastic, the family did decide to step out, however. I did not make this upcoming connection until days later after talking to family members about my experience. The chandelier above us had many bulbs. Maybe 7 to 10. I do distinctly remember a few bulbs already out when I looked up initially. Days after remembering what the daughter had said, I wanted to say that there was 3 out when we first walked in. That would make 4 out when we left the home. Very eerie indeed.